It was supposed to be a calm and respectful panel discussion, one of those televised moments where political minds come together to talk through the big issues of the day. But from the very first second, you could feel the tension in the air, the kind that makes the hairs on the back of your neck stand up. Stacey Abrams had arrived looking calm, collected, and laser-focused, her trademark poise intact. Across from her sat Senator John Kennedy, his folksy demeanor masking the sharp edge of his political wit. The cameras had barely started rolling when the atmosphere shifted from professional to combustible, and those watching at home could already sense that something unforgettable was about to happen. "Welcome back to the program," the moderator began, but the polite introductions barely got through before Abrams leaned slightly forward, her tone firm but still measured. "Senator Kennedy," she said, "there comes a point where rhetoric stops serving the people and starts hurting them. You've crossed that line." The audience let out a low, collective murmur, and Kennedy, known for his quick, biting comebacks, smirked as if he'd been waiting for that exact provocation. "With all due respect, Ms. Abrams," he drawled, "if calling out hypocrisy is crossing the line, I'll cross it every day of the week and twice on Sunday." The room tightened. The energy became electric. But then, something shifted. Kennedy launched into a critique of Abrams' policies with a force that clearly irritated her, and as his words got sharper, her composure began to thin. "That's enough," she suddenly shot back, her voice rising just enough to silence the room. "Get out." The words landed like a hammer, blunt, decisive, and final. Gasps echoed in the studio audience, and the host froze mid-sentence, unsure whether to intervene or let this play out. Kennedy, to everyone's surprise, didn't flare up or walk out. Instead, he leaned back in his chair, took a slow breath, and said, "No, Stacey. I won't get out, because the people who sent me here, they don't want me to walk away when it's uncomfortable. They want me to stay in the fight." The words carried a calm defiance that stunned the room into silence. Even Abrams, still visibly bristling, seemed momentarily taken aback by the quiet power in his response. And then, he didn't stop. "You and I may never agree," he continued, "but yelling me out of the room doesn't solve the problems our people face. It just proves we're more interested in winning arguments than winning solutions. And I'm not here to win arguments. I'm here to work." You could feel the emotional shift in the audience, the way the anger in the air gave way to something closer to reflection. Abrams, realizing the cameras were catching every flicker of her reaction, straightened her posture and tried to reclaim the upper hand. "Senator, working together requires honesty," she said, her voice steady but less heated now. "And honesty means acknowledging when policies are hurting communities you claim to represent." Kennedy nodded slowly, almost respectfully. "Then let's be honest," he said. "Your policies may sound compassionate, but they drown people in promises that don't keep. You build safety nets so big, they become cages. And I won't stand by and applaud it." That line hit the crowd hard, not because it was cruel, but because it was said without malice, with a kind of sincerity that made it clear Kennedy believed every word. The tension between them became almost philosophical rather than purely combative, yet no one could deny the heat still crackling beneath the surface. The moderator, sensing the TV gold playing out in real time, gave them room to keep going. What followed was 15 minutes of back and forth unlike anything the show had ever hosted. Two strong voices colliding, clashing, but also revealing more of their convictions than any soundbite ever could. At one point, Abrams accused Kennedy of weaponizing charm to excuse bad policy, to which Kennedy replied, "And you weaponize empathy to justify control." It was raw, it was fiery, and it was impossible to look away. By the end of the segment, no one in the audience seemed to care about who won. They were too caught up in the fact that they'd just witnessed something real, unfiltered, passionate, and deeply human. As the credits began to roll, the camera caught Kennedy leaning toward Abrams, saying something the microphones didn't pick up. But viewers could read his lips. "We fight, but we can still talk." Abrams gave the smallest nod, not quite a smile, but enough to show that in some corner of this tense exchange, there was still mutual respect. And as the host closed out the show, thanking viewers for watching, the comment section online exploded, some siding with Abrams, others with Kennedy, but nearly all agreeing that they had just seen one of the most unforgettable moments in live political television. If you're watching this now, tell us in the comments whose side you're on, and don't forget to hit like, share this with your friends, and subscribe for more stories that pull you right into the heart of the action.